So it is, I don't know if you can see that there, October the 1st, 2018. I got lots of sleep because I only keep my house 16 degrees Celsius and it's cold and you don't want to get out of bed. So anyway, last night I was really worried about my plants and harvest time is a terrible time for me because I don't like things to die. So, I took in this pineapple sage and it's going to be a houseplant now because I can't let it die. And I pulled up a bunch of these golden berries by the roots. This is from the peat bell row. And I don't know how they'll do. They're a bit wilty. They didn't like being ripped up by the roots so much. But I'm going to pot them up right now. They're just in a garbage bag. And I gave them some water in the garbage bag. And the golden berries are really brittle. So I had a lot of breakage, but because I was pulling this in, I managed to get a few more ripe golden berries that I didn't even know existed, so that was great. And anyway, we watched this, and wow, like so many people knew about this Jerry Sandusky. Apparently, like I shouldn't ruin the ending, but he was charged with like 45 child abuse cases. Holy cow, hey. And a lot of people knew and nobody did anything about it. And like James said, the whole, like this happened, this guy was a football coach, Penn State football coach, Joe Paterno, and do whatever. Anyway, James said, well, that's what in sports they get used to covering up for each other. So, like, and it all, he thinks it all stems from the drug use, so steroids or blood doping or whatever, right? So they get used to just covering for each other. And then there's like the coaches and the instructors and everything like that. They get used to covering up for, say, their players raping some girl in school or something, and that all gets covered up. So anyway, so this, I mean, but 45 child abuse, that's a whole lot of cover up. Like, that's, wow. Anyway, I had no idea. And I'm glad that I watched this movie, I guess, because I had no idea it was that bad. And I'm thinking now, maybe that's why people who were in who played sports in university or college tend to become managers and stuff like that in business world is, yeah, it seems to be a good fit. Anyway, but that's just my opinion. The Death of Stalin, we watched that last night. Awesome. I had heard about this sort of thing. I don't know if it's true, all the rumors about Stalin. But they did a kind of dark comedy about it. And it worked. And I'm not used to seeing Michael Palin in a role quite like this. And there were some other great actors in this too. I love Steve Buscemi. He's great. So I would recommend this. And if you're into Stalin, well, you might be a bit offended, but you know what? It is just drama or whatever. It's not a big deal. Don't get offended by things. Oh, I brought my produce in because I use my porch, and this is what is it called? Is it called kvass or something? I'm not sure. Beet stuff. Anyway, I use my porch as a second fridge, third fridge, I guess, because I have a probiotic fridge all devoted to probiotics. And anyway, I use my coolers. This one I haven't started using yet, but I'll clean it up and use it in the porch to try to keep things a stable temperature. And you can use your porch for a long time that way. So anyway, I did have some damage to things last night on the deck. Some of these things aren't looking so hot. But anyway, especially over there, that patch didn't do too well. But and I brought some things in, and as you can see, like I noticed that planter, the peppers were still doing okay last night, and I was like, well, I shouldn't chance it, I should bring them in because the poor things. And so I brought them in, they're fine. But these ones, I didn't bring them in, and they're still fine. So I could bring those peppers in if I wanted to, and then just keep them on for the winter. And I might. I know from experience the mint's fine if I let it freeze, and so is that oregano patch over there, which I have another patch like that, and I have another patch at James's actually, and I know that it's fine. So it went down to -4 overnight. That was the prediction, and I believe it's true. I can see my breath right now, and it's quite late in the day, almost noon. But even that squash in the middle of the yard didn't seem to do too badly. Surprisingly, I guess it was covered over well enough. But the mint, I can harvest that quite a bit later. But see, this tomato did fine. And I just keep track of these things when you're gardening. Keep track of where the plantings are. So remember, I wrote down where I put everything in the spring, and then keep track of when it gets damaged. So you have your type of tomato, where you put it, and how it does. So this one did not do so well. That one did really well. And so some things can take the temperature drop pretty good. Now this pepper still doing fine, and I might bring them in because I feel really bad letting things die. So I really trashed my peat bell row yesterday, taking a bunch of things in. So I'm gonna have to like try to replant these things a little bit better, because I did that just before I decided to go to bed for a really, really long time. And I didn't bring this guy in, and this goldenberry still doing fine. So the goldenberries in the peat bale row I know now they can take it to -4, and they're still fine. Crazy. And the beans, these guys, still fine. -4. I don't get it. So anyway, there's a few of my tomatoes did okay, and not this guy. This guy did not do okay. But like I could still harvest my lavender if I want to. And these guys, I can wait until I'll just have to keep track of the temperatures, the lows. But I can probably hold off on that for a month. So I don't have very much there, but if I don't care to use it, like these guys, I can wait probably a month. We'll see. So anyway. Oh, and I didn't take all of my squash in because I can't reach that or those ones. So I have to get the ladder, and I haven't yet. But as you can see, the leaves of the squash that were right in front of the window, and there's a few others that I noticed over here, they're still fine. So even though it dropped down to -4, there was enough heat probably coming from the house, and they have the frost protection from the eaves, so they were fine. Yep. So that's my peat bale row as of October the 1st at around noon. And and these cannas are still going pretty good. So I did get some damage to some of my cannas, but these ones are pretty protected here, and they were fine. So and anyway, these are the little orange fingernail size. I have beets and stuff in my fingernails. Fingernail sized tomatoes. So if I give you some of those, then you know, those ones will keep pretty long time outside.